I seem to have lost the line.
I'll just repeat that. Theresa May said that there was going to be an inquiry into whether public bodies and other non-state institutions took seriously their duty of care towards children. Clearly, the allegation is that that simply wasn't happening for many, many years.
And indeed, our inquiry into child sexual exploitation, which we concluded last autumn, showed that that is not so historical, quite frankly. Children are still slipping through the net. So not only is it desperately important to uncover the deeply nasty goings-on from many years ago and identify why professionals have not been listening to children and doing what they should do to protect them. It is also extremely important to hold in mind that we're not only talking about things that are historical, but there are children being abused today who are still slipping through the net today and who need to be protected, and things need to be tightened up today.
Okay, so it's important to stress that this is an ongoing situation, that in fact times haven't changed, things haven't improved?
Well, I think we're at a watershed moment, quite frankly, where hopefully now, with all of this stuff coming out and a determination to really uncover the realities of child sexual abuse, that it will make it impossible for people to continue to turn a blind eye and a deaf ear to children who show in so many ways that they are victims of abuse, whether it's sexual abuse or other forms of abuse. People wait for children to make so-called disclosures. We heard so courageously from Tessa Munt today, the MP, about how difficult, indeed impossible, it was for her to talk out about her experiences of being abused. This is true for children who are abused, all children really. People should not be expecting and waiting for children to come forward with a sort of neat story about their abuse. They show in many ways their distress, and that needs to be attended to. And of course, most alarmingly, we also know that too often, particularly in these historical abuse cases, where children have been brave enough to tell, and then somebody has denied their experience, that has shut them up for many, many, many years, and their faith in adults to protect them has been shattered. So really it is time now to blow this all apart and find out exactly what's been going on and make sure that people listen to children now, today, and protect children today who are being abused.
Sure, I mean, lots of people are probably sort of casting their minds back to the 1980s and 90s and wondering what was going on then. Because I don't know if you heard a little bit earlier, we played a clip of the MP Tim Fortescue, who was speaking in 1995 and talked about the whips who keep party discipline among the MPs in the Commons, them having a dirt book on various MPs, and some of those revelations in this dirt book involving them abusing children and keeping these things quiet in order to make sure that they voted in a certain way. This was broadcast in 1995, and it didn't create a stir.
Yes, it's utterly shameful. I mean, it's shameful that it was happening, and it's shameful that it didn't create a stir. So let's try to look on the bright side of things, so to speak, at this very difficult and dark time with all of this coming out, and say, well, at least it is coming out now. I welcome this inquiry. It is the right thing to do. We too, in the Office of the Children's Commissioner, have launched just last week an inquiry into child sexual abuse within the family environment, because that is where most children who are abused are being abused. Of course, most children are not abused, but those who are mostly being abused within the family environment. That too is an abuse of power. So it's whether it's power by those in powerful positions in the establishment or power within the family, we are talking about children who are profoundly vulnerable and for whom those who are charged with their protection must be proactive in listening to those children, identifying when they are distressed, not waiting for the children to come forward and make their revelations, but actually take steps to protect those children, and critically for the agencies to pull together, to share information, and above all to put children first. This is about the best interests of the child, trumping absolutely everything else.
Okay, the Deputy Children's Commissioner for England, Sue Brelovitz there. Many thanks, Sue. Thanks for talking to us.
Thank you.